All right, so figure that one out. How's it going? It's Grant
And Shelby.
with the Garden of Eater, and today, like the rest of the year, we were fumbling already. We didn't meet our goal of 500 aquariums, and we won't meet it by the end of the year. But progression, we've made it a few steps of the way, but things have been a little chaotic, not just today, but the last few months. But you wouldn't believe it. Things are getting a little bit back to normal, though. We do have fresh tanks. They have been recently water changed. Shelby went through, scraped the front of them, and I took the water out and put water in. Not complicated, but basically, we're back on schedule to try and get ahead of maintenance. There's still a little bit of algae, some cleb, especially in that tank right there. However, with regular maintenance and just some time, those tanks will be up to prime and hopefully ready before Nick Mann comes to visit in February. So really looking forward to that. But that's next year. This year, 2023, though, has been a doozy. We've done quite a few shows. I do believe we probably missed the show on here, but we do have a good little note list tonight, full sheet. And then on top of that, we have a planned giveaway. I'm sorry. What I had originally said was way better than the second round where the mic was muted and I had to do it all again. So kind of fumbled there, was out of tune, as you could say. But the last few days have been nice. The inspection was on Friday, and then find out the guy never took pictures of the pool. He just looked at it and was like, "Oh my God, that's a first. I've never seen that," and really loved it. Was really happy at it. Spent some time at the pool and never took pictures of it. So he knew he had to take pictures. Like that's the whole reason we walked out to the pool. But yeah, we'll get to that a little bit more in the end. But basically, the first event to kick off the year for us this year was the Florida State Fair. It's normally like that every year. However, next year, for the first time, we've got something planned in January. So that's going to be weird. But we've got the Florida State Fair pretty much at the beginning of the year every year, except for the one COVID year that we're not going to talk about anymore. But basically, it's in February, the same time every single year. And what it is Aquarium Beautiful contest. So it's not just an aquascape contest. They judge the overall look of the aquarium and the health and quality of the fish and so on. So we all enter tanks, and this was the first year that Shelby beat me and took best of show. And I was so badly hurt about it that I like erased it from my memory because I could not, for the life of me, remember that she beat me. And then like somebody else brought this up at like one of the last meetings. I was like, she beat me this year? And they're like, yeah, don't remember? Like, and even she was like, yeah. And I was like, dang, she must have beat me. And it's been driving me nuts. And I had to look back into the video live stream that we had done, and I saw her tank, and I was like, oh, yeah, all right, I remember now. But I thought another one of her tanks was going to beat me, and that one won. But I still knew I was beaten before the results even came out. And let's just say that was the start of Shelby's domination throughout the year. She did quite well for herself for aquascaping. And yeah, it's going to be a lot about Shelby tonight. But the Florida State Fair has 2 winners for Best of Show. There's an adult and a child, and Layla took Best of Show this year. So it was the first mother-daughter Best of Show winning of the Aquarium Beautiful contest, and it was well deserved. Both their tanks deserved the win. So that was the Florida State Fair.
3 years losing to him and Jaden. It was cool the first year they got it, but after the second year they got it in a row, me and Layla were kind of heartbroken. So it was nice.
So the first real expo show event for us, however, is global, and it's not a normal show. For those of you that don't know about the Global Expo, it is not open to the public. It is more of a trade show for pet stores, for businesses with new products to come out. But like, it's everything from cats, dogs, all the way to kangaroos, squirrels, and weird animals that you wouldn't think is pets is also catered to them in different booths. But like, if you've ever been to an Aquashella or the event in North Carolina, you got to think like there's at least 400 booths just for dog collars. So imagine like a show 10 times bigger than Aquashella, and there's like a quarter of it is just dog and cat collars. So it's kind of like a ridiculous show when you think about it, but there is an aquatic section. And every single year we go, sadly, that section gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It is a very expensive show. It's like $10,000 entry level to get in, to get a booth there. It's really cool though. In some parts, there's enough dog vendors there that we get enough dog treats to pretty much last us the year. Blue Buffalo, is that it? The dog food?
A lot of dog food.
I think it's Blue Buffalo. They build like a 2-story house inside the expo.
Yes, they do.
So it's really massive, the size of this show. And we were there to set up a tank for Carib Sea. We dropped that off. And while we were doing that, JBJ saw us. Do you want to tell this story, Shelby? I do an awful lot of talking. This is actually your story. No? No, you're going to make me do it?
Yeah.
All right. So they asked us if we had time to set up another aquarium. And Shelby threw together a scape for one tank, and like, I'm saying threw together because she literally had to work with the supplies that they've brought, and they didn't bring much. So she did the best she could with what she had. And then some guy later that night with the forklift felt that it was not up to par with the show and slaughtered it, took it completely off the chopping block. And yeah, it's the first time I've ever heard of an aquarium getting stabbed by a forklift, but it happened at Global and the JBJ booth, and it was Shelby's tank. But I'd like to say that's where the aquascapes and tanks stop breaking and crashing, but sadly, it is not. And that wasn't even Shelby's fault. I mean, maybe the scape was her fault, but like the tank itself breaking was not. All right. And I'm really giving her crap, but like the escape was as good as you can make it with the materials that were literally just on display at the show, and it was not a lot of display. And so at the end of the show, we have to take home the tank from Carib Sea, JBJ gave us a few not aquascapes, but a few aquariums to take home as well. And it's really a madness at the end of some of these shows. Like they want you in and out of there as quickly as possible, basically. So you've got, all these people running around trying to make it out to their cars to load up. And this just happens to be like one of these years where they're like, oh, if you don't have a special badge, you're not allowed back in. So it's like literally once you leave, you can just like come back to the blockade and grab something and go back to the car. So me and Shelby were doing this handoff thing where I was loading up a cart, bringing it out to her, and then she'd bring it out to the car. And
walk about 2 miles to the car. It's ridiculous. What a terrible car.
But we were doing the best we can, and I'm on my way out with a fully escaped aqua tank and then a little tiny JBJ rimless aquarium. And there's somebody ahead of me that's pushing a cart. I've got a forklift behind me who's already out for blood, right? He's already taken out one of the tanks. So I'm like, oh, not this one. And then in front of me is a guy ripping up carpet. So I'm going behind the guy ripping up carpet and the guy behind me. And I must have like looked back to check at something, but I totally missed a glob of glue that was like 2 inches high by like 4 inches thick.
For the carpet. And
the cart hit it, stopped the cart. One tank fell on top of another tank, and we lost a total of 3 aquariums at Global. And we've never lost a single aquarium at any of the shows. And like we literally brought home like 50 aquariums from the last Aquashella, and no issues, not even a scratch. But yeah,
it's probably
Global,
one of my favorite tanks of yours too. I was talking about it. I told him, I was like, I love this tank.
It wasn't good enough to beat you at the Florida State Fair, so like I was just like, screw it.
Loved
it did its purpose. So yeah, Global was still a lot of fun. There is a couple nice vendors: Aqua L, Fluval, Carib Sea, of course, JBJ. And then the Florida fish farmers, the breeders of Florida, have a whole little section in the middle so they can link up with other pet stores and stuff like that. One day I can see us having a little display there for sure. We've been invited. We just not even invited. Like our competitors are like, why aren't you doing this? And I'm just like, I don't have the stock to throw into these aquariums to start selling to pet stores in the first place. So it makes no sense for me to advertise something we can't make the demand for. But like, hopefully one day we can get the farm going big enough that we can set up a good display with like a bunch of different colors of Neos and like a tiger tank and like a Caridina tank. But there's farms that do several different tanks. I'd like just 3 one day.
Thank you so much, Vibes Aquatics, for the $4.99 super chat. Says Shelby looks awesome. Great seeing y'all again. Merry Christmas. Thanks so much for the great content. Looking forward to 2024 season. Thank you so much, Vibes.
I promise 2024 we will be posting a lot more videos. I know I've been saying that for a while, but Shelby worked on a thumbnail yesterday or today? Today. Like things are happening, all right, people, I promise.
It's just been a whirlwind. We have all the video like shot and ready for I think 2 videos.
No, well, yeah.
And then I just haven't had the time to sit down and do the work because I've just been busy on fixing up the house. So.
The second video could have been really good if I incorporated that last unboxing video. But like I should have done that and just not included anybody's name. I got a bag of shrimp, 2 bags of shrimp. The person decided to put 250 shrimp into each bag, and they were stuck in transit for an extra 2 days, and they did not fare very well. I thought the mailman stunk. I was like, oh my God, he smells bad. And then I brought the package inside, and the package smelled. And I was like, he smelled so bad, he made the package smell. And then when I cut open the tape, the smell changed, and I immediately knew. I was like, oh, it wasn't the mailman. I gotta get this thing outside to finish this unboxing. So I didn't film anything, but it was like pink sludge.
Those are the ones people want to see. We should block out the person's name and do a live unboxing.
I had no plans. I had no plans to do that
and
unboxing
just to correct
at all.
It, I know.
Even if I had the
just
thing
such
set
basic
up. Yeah.
It's like us getting wild to be like, oh, you guys excited?
There's just somebody tearing down the red cherry tank that sent it to us, and it was. Woo! I can still smell it deep in the depths of the innards of my nose.
Oh,
It's
man.
killing me.
Thank you so much, Amisa, for the $2 super chat. Says thank you for fueling my shrimpy addiction. Well, thank you for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
June
And
said,
thank you, Vibes. I don't think I said thank you to Vibes.
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry.
Get
Shame
on
on
it.
me.
Shame on you. And then June said, I didn't complete the homework, but I do have shrimp in all of my 10 shrimp tanks, thanks to TGOE.
I think this
That's
year
pretty good, though.
we're 2 years in a row where we said we were going to get the 400, and then to make up for it, we were going to get the 500. Safe to say we're above 400 at least, but we're not at 500. I could definitely get us there by the end of the year, but then I think the rest of the house would suffer, and it's definitely time. I've said to several different clubs, people, meetings, we could go 2 months without doing water changes and travel and do shows and yada yada yada. But after that 2 months, we got to get back to it. We got to start doing water changes, and yeah, that's where we're at right now. We got to get on it before something goes south.
The person saying being a fork driver on occasions.
And here's the thing.
Ready
So back
to take out tanks.
So back to that tank. The guy on the forklift behind me must have been the guy that took out Shelby's tank, because he jumped off his forklift and sprung into action without thinking either, because the guy grabbed an aquascape tank full of substrate, full of plants, full of rocks, full of wood, and broken, shattered, and just grabbed it and sliced his arm all open, and then was walking around like, oh no. And I was like, dude, you got to get that bandaged up and go to first aid. And the guy clearly did not want to do that, because I think he was on strike 2 or 3 after that aquarium.
Or
it
they
had to
drug
have been the
test you
guy.
when you get hurt.
Maybe.
That's a bigger maybe.
But I feel like the way he jumped into action because of the tank, though, no normal forklift driver would have done that. They would have just been like, all right, you need to get that out of my way ASAP. And I did. Once the guy cut his hand, I took care of the tank. I didn't leave it for somebody else. But yeah, he was not thinking. I think he had, regrets, and he was apologetic and trying to make up for it.
Abstract said, what foods do you feed your turtles?
We use the Missouri aquatic turtle food. It is what I think is the best turtle food on the market. Zoomed is right there. I'm not going to say it's better than Zoomed. I love the Zoomed hatchling formula because it's the right size, and it's what we raise our turtles on. So those two foods are awesome. And then because we have so many koi fish, we also feed the Aquamax, the 8mm size pellets, if I'm remembering correctly. And the turtles and the koi don't know whose food is whose, so they both eat a good mix of both of them. And I don't want to brag, but our turtle quality of health is bar none. The size of our terrapins, for them only being 2 years, is incredible. But if you would have seen them at 1 year, you would have been like, there's no way these are 1 year turtles. And there's some people that we sold the turtles to and gave the turtles away to, where they're so much smaller, and it breaks my heart. But yeah, those two foods are great. All right, back to me.
Yeah, till I find the comment, I already forgot.
All right, so global something we've been going
yeah.
to for since 2016 or 2017. Aquafest in Louisiana, however, this was our very first time doing a show in Louisiana. Our first time at Aquafest, of course. I had been to Louisiana before in the past and have always talked about gumbo and walking around the French Quarter with Shelby. And sadly, I was not able to take her out and treat her to all of the wonderful things that I had been talking about, because they decided to have a French Quarter Fest or some type of Louisiana festival where it made the lines and everything 2 or 3 hours long. and the streets were just nasty. And we're from Florida. Like, all I brought was my flip-flops, so I didn't have the proper shoe attire to be walking around down there. And it was rainy, and it wasn't a great situation to be at the French Quarter of Louisiana. So we're going to go back this year, not just once, not next year. Sorry, not just once, but twice. There's 2 events going on. One I think is Aquafest again, and the other one I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but it's for one of the fish clubs. It's nothing to do with Aquafest. So hopefully we can spend some time down in the French Quarter, find some hole-in-the-wall gumbo spots, and see the flea market and stuff like that. So be real cool. But this Aquafest was nice. I can't even remember if it was it was a 2-day show, right?
No, Monday.
It was only 1-day show. And it was right on the bayou. We did a little bit of not really collecting, but like we definitely grabbed some snail shells that we shouldn't have and instantly regretted it. You touched the snail shell. You helped me collect one.
I did not.
Don't lie.
I did not. I knew exactly that they would smell
Well,
snail steak.
Well, Shelby was driving, and I had the snails out the window, and I was trying my hardest, like, not to gag, and they didn't make it home. There were some ginormous shells. The Shelleys would have loved them, but we also escaped a tank for the Fish Fam Link, which they raffled off. Fish Fam Link booth, which they raffled off.
Part where we left. I left the windows down because the car smelled so bad because of the snails. And then it monsooned. It was like the heaviest rain that Louisiana's ever had a long time.
Katrina was pretty bad, Shelby.
Like, obviously exaggerating, but it was pretty bad. It was like a good inch of water in our car. Brand new car. Just got it.
Hi, Genevieve. Good evening.
Welcome.
Do you remember Katrina? Shelby doesn't. She does now, but all right. Sure. What else was good about Aquafest, Shelby? Come on.
Oh, we got to go out to dinner with Jenna P, Stephen P, Brookley, and her
Mississippi hippie.
You interrupted me. And her, I don't know if it's husband. If I got that wrong, my bad. And then
Jessica
Mississippi hippie
and Joe, her husband.
Yes. Was she there? Yes. Well, we went out to dinner the night before with them.
Oh, that's
I don't know if they were able to go.
But still, we went out to dinner with them, just not all at the same time.
Yeah.
All right.
That was fun.
It was a great event. We'll be going back this year, and then that other show, of course. And then it's a lot of shows at first about what shows we went to, and then we've got some achievements that I've got written down also. Then we have Aquashella Dallas. This was...
And Eric. By
Rock?
Yeah, how did we forget Eric?
Listen, that guy bailed on me the first night. He didn't even say goodbye. So that's what I'm upset about. Okay?
So upset about it. He just kept looking around. Where's Eric?
Where did he go? He didn't say bye. He said he was going to take a nap and come back. He lied. So then we had Aquashella Dallas. I don't know how many years we've done Aquashella Dallas, but this year we did the Aquascape contest and we didn't win. We won it the previous year, so it wasn't as good as the last year, right? But we still had a lot of fun. We placed 5th, which was good enough to get us to qualify for the Daytona Aquascape contest, which we didn't win either, but still had a lot of fun, had a lot of support. Thanks again, everybody who came out, gave a hand. Scuba Steve and Richard, two of the ones I think might be listening right now. You guys were a lot of help during that. The Bloomfields, of course. And then, on top of that, Shelby won the Creators Contest, a little escape off that they have. And we've been doing that for a long time. I don't think I've won it. I don't believe I won it. So
no.
You've won it. Congratulations. It was stolen from me one time because somebody had to go around and beg for votes, which wasn't allowed. And we knew what was going on anyways. what are you going to do about it, right? And then overall, the Dallas show though was a great show. Um, I didn't throw out my shoulder, so it wasn't anything memorable besides Shelby winning the aquascape contest, and we met the Dallas aquascaping group. Charles, great guy, a lot of fun. So going to all these shows, really the best part is the people, of course. And then we've got Ruben and Ben in Dallas, so it's always great seeing them. Anything else for me?
Mm-mm.
It's all me talking tonight. I gave you one chance. You didn't even take it. So then another first-time show for us was the North Carolina, the Aquatic Experience, and it was a lot of fun. This show was put on by Sabu. I believe he had done it the year before, but this was our first time doing it. They also hosted the International Shrimp Contest, which I had thought I had only won 2 awards, but Shelby was quick to remind me that I had won actually 3. We took home first place in the Solid Tiger group, third place in Crystals, and then third place in what? Did we ever figure that one out? No, we never figured it out. I can't remember what it was now. I want to say
Neos.
I want to say it was Taiwan Bees. I might be wrong about that though. Maybe Super Crystals. I don't think it was Super Crystals though either.
So I already started one of the giveaways. I forgot. I didn't let it not say it in chat. So hashtag TGOE is going to be for another $25 gift card to our website, tgoeshrimp.com.
And by the way, we've got a good little live stream lined up for you guys this week. Next week, we understand it is Christmas. However, we're like 11 subscribers away from hitting 6K. So I think it was just meant to be for us to hit 6K subs on Christmas. And a little birdie told me that usually we donate $300 to the Fish Fam Christmas, which isn't happening. So we're thinking about trying to go ahead and do all $300 on next week's giveaway. So make sure that you stay tuned and enter for those. And even if you are unable to join us live on that chat, I'm still going to do $100 worth of giveaways after that on that live stream in the comments section. So you'll still have a chance to win $100, even if you're not able to watch it live on Christmas. I'll give you about a week to watch it and figure out how to win those $100 in gift cards. So we do have a great giveaway planned, and it won't be boring. I won't be talking about myself for an hour or anything like that. We're just going to play Santa and Mrs. Claus and give away a bunch of stuff and enjoy the rest of our Christmas with you guys.
You can wear your lovely shirt we got you.
No, not that one. I know which one you're talking about. It's absolutely hideous and ginormous. Like, I know I put on some weight. Come on. I know there's some certain shirts I can't fit in right now, but oof, that thing's big. And you washed it, and it's shrunk? Or no, it still has yet to be washed.
It's been washed. Sorry, I cannot focus on what you were saying. I can't even remember.
When are you focused on what I'm saying, Shelby?
Thank you so much, Sibley, for the $5 super chat. Says happy holidays, TGOE. Thank you for these lives and advice on Facebook Messenger. Grant has been a huge help talking shrimp and the UFC. Laugh a lot. Thanks.
Well, if you used all of my picks, you only lost out on one. So if you were betting high, you should still be up in your betting based off of my picks, Yeah.
Thank you so
always
much.
Great talking to you about UFC. I enjoy it.
Happy holidays as well.
The shrimp genetics, too. That's by far the most fun I have.
I only like to talk about the drama that happens. And I get really upset about it. But Patty the baddie, yeah. The funny ones. But I'm very upset that he put cornrows in his hair. I'm so upset. Go back. Sorry.
So, different story for a different day. Anyways, so North Carolina, though, we also got to meet the Bloomfields for the first time. We got to meet Benny Tay in person, SC Catahoula. I know I missed somebody else out. There's so many shows in Night Owl Aquatics, Kiki. Man, there's a lot of great people, and I don't know which shows we meet everyone at what, but it was just a different area on our first time out there, and they ended up having this awesome food truck festival, and it made it really easy for us to grab food, so we were full the entire show and not cranky and hangry and hungry and a little bit mean. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it was very convenient. We wanted Sabu to book the show alongside of that.
He tried. He legit tried.
I know
he said
he tried
to line it up with it next year, and they just couldn't.
But it was just an incredible experience. Shelby entered that aquascape contest, and wouldn't you know, she won that one too. A little annoying how many aquascape contests you just keep winning. So that's 3 if you guys are counting. And then I didn't enter that one though, so I didn't lose. All right, so don't count how many losses I have though at the same time, please. And then on top of that, when you left the venue, you got this smell of food that I only know so well because of all the Aquashella Chicagos. They have this Indian wedding, and the Indian food hits you because you've got to go above the Indian wedding to get to the expo if you need to go to your hotel room or anything like that. Diane, finish it for me.
I don't know where you're at, but I know the Indian food, Chicago, Aquashella.
All right,
we're already to Chicago, Aquashella?
Thanks for the reminder. No, we're not.
Oh.
We didn't go to that this year, remember?
Yeah.
But I knew that smell, and I'm like, I have to have this food. So Sunday, the very end, before we left and packed up home, we invited a bunch of people, but Mark and Sabu and some people didn't show up. But Harley, you did. We had a great time, and it was a fantastic meal. And since then, I've tried to have Indian food like once a week. Have not been successful at all with that. We've, I think, tried Indian food in like 3 other cities though now, and really not had a bad experience. So definitely adding it to our list of food that we look up when we're in a new area. And yeah, we have the North Carolina show to thank for that. So it was a great show overall, and looking forward to it next year. All right, what do you got for me?
All right. Cole asks, is it possible to set up a 20 long with tangerine tigers raised in Neo water parameters and cherry shrimp and have them both breeding, or will one outcompete the other? Thanks.
The answer is yes and yes. It's a possibility that you can have them both breed. More than likely, they're not going to both breed at the same rate. One is going to outbreed the other. And then with this combination, it's hard to say who. I've had tangerine tigers outbreed Neocardinas in the same tanks before. However, most of the time, though, in Neocardina parameters, that is not going to be the case, and they're not going to really be able to keep up with the Neocardinas. So there is that whole possibility, too, where the Neocardina can just overpower the Caridina altogether, and they won't both be breeding. Excuse me. So once upon a time, we had 46 aquariums and 56 different types of shrimp. Now we have 300 aquariums just for shrimp, and 140 different varieties. I'm definitely happier having more tanks and less varieties, so I can split them up, and they both do really well. Because when we kept tigers and neos in all the aquariums, it was a hit or a miss on who did well and who didn't, and they never really both did well. Just that Blue Dream Tangerine Tiger tank did so well for like a year, and then I think one dominated the other after a year.
Travis said, why does it make He tagged Shelby. I gotta change my name because every time we do hashtag TGOE, it tries to tag me for some reason. So I'll just change my name.
Just change the hashtag.
No,
Okay.
never. It's just easy. And then Jesse did make it into chat. So.
How's it going, Jesse? Jesse, we met him at the Keystone Clash. We're not there yet.
Justin said, my question is, I have them now loose in a 55-gallon community tank that I used to be my Neo tank, but I've been having so much luck with Neos in there. I don't know if it's the other fish or other stuff.
I just think it's Neocardinas are hard to mess up. Like, even in a 55-gallon aquarium, if you're just doing basic water changes and basic food, they're gonna breed. Like, they're that easy of a shrimp to take care of. Caridina, though, in Neocaridina parameters, that's not always the case. There are breeders that will argue that tigers do better for them in Neocaridina parameters, but like, I only know one person that says this. Everybody else agrees with me that they breed higher numbers in Caridina parameters. You okay? So back to me.
Jamie said, hopefully they'll do North Carolina again next year so we can go. We are definitely going to be doing North Carolina. It's already scheduled.
There's actually 2 shows in North Carolina.
In the same month, are they not?
No, there's 3 shows in North Carolina. I'm sorry. They're not in the same month. But the AGA is hosted by the Rayling County Club. Mm-hmm. So AGA is in North Carolina. Then Sabu's show. And then there's also the Aquatic Mania Aquamania show also going on. I think that's in May. So there's 3 different opportunities plus the South Carolina show, which is not that far, of course, from North Carolina. So we'll be in that area 4 times next year.
Durfson said, do you do workshops? I haven't shrimped yet.
Yeah, we did a workshop actually for Aquashella. I do a better talk. Workshop doesn't really work out for shrimp tanks because everybody's going to want to do a different size or a different tank, and it's just so basic and boring. My shrimp talk. What are you laughing at? Because I know you're going to say my shrimp talk's boring too, but my shrimp talk has a bunch of cool slides, and it really just talks crap about Shelby setting all these rules and then breaking them herself. And that's how we ended up with all these aquariums. So, and I talk about the highs and the lows of the shrimp prices, and it really gets the people going. Yeah. So my shrimp talks are better if you have a local aquarium club or something like that. I don't charge a fee as long as you cover for our travel expenses. And I say I'm just dragging her along. So it's just my fees. And then she's a cheap date, right? She tags along. So,
sorry. Alishon saying boring.
Yeah. All right. So talking about Alishon, got to meet him at the ACLC, and I found out he's the northern Chuck Davis. All right. I used to judge my talk by whether or not Chuck Davis would fall asleep during it, which my talk that I did, he played video games the whole time, so I couldn't even judge whether or not he was going to fall asleep.
Quietly, it was like those being like coin ones. It's like doing, 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 and I'm just like turning around like, Chucks, what are you doing?
Chuck is a legend though, and the stories that he tells, every minute I get with Chuck is I'm gonna save her for the end of time.
Everyone was laughing at me, laughing at Chuck doing this during your talk. I'm like, this is great.
But at least he wasn't sleeping, right? But anyways, got to meet Alishon. We'd already met Crypt Keeper last year. We got to meet LJ. Got to meet. I'm forgetting somebody else.
Scotty?
No, it's the frog.
Yeah, Frogs and More.
Frogs and More.
I'm not good with names, so don't ask me.
I didn't mean to call you the frog. All right, I know you're not the frog, but
frog.
Yes, I was gonna say the frog lady, but then I'm like, that sounds like the crazy cat lady. That's not the right thing to say either. But
Terrible.
Your guppies are right down here now. We brought them in for the winter, so we are taking care of them. They are doing quite well. We have at least tripled the amount, and a lot of them are still outside with a heater. So, what is going on?
There's just so funny things in chat.
All right. Well, I'm hoping you guys are laughing at and reading chat, and not just clueless about you laughing.
PNW Custom came and said, "Happy birthday, Shrimp Daddy."
I was just talking about you. He must have heard.
That's so good. And then,
I don't like Shrimp Daddy though, because there's this guy that sold like snake oil overpriced in the shrimp hobby back in the day. So it's a tainted name. Back to me. So we did the ACLC that I was talking about, the Aquarium Club of Lancaster County. This is also Scotty's club. I thought Scotty would join us for dinner, want to hang out with us. We're not that cool. Scotty had better things to do. He was there for the talk at least, and hooked us up with going to the Jersey Aquarium, which was a treat. We got behind the scenes, got to see one of the larger saltwater displays. The kids got to feed the turtles, not turtles, turtle. And it was a really great time. Also, it was in an Amish firehouse, so that was awesome. Just doing the talk there in Amish country, and really bad food experience with some of the blandest, dullest food. But Layla gave a good show for Crypt Keeper at the end of it. He'll laugh later. But yeah, it was a great little trip. And then another one of the clubs that we traveled to and talked to was the Massey Club, and that is the Missouri Aquatic Society in St. Louis. They have a free zoo there. We got to go visit the zoo. When we first got there, the next day we went to the zoo, and then the club took us out for tacos, and then that's when the real pampering started to happen, because Lady Diane totally started to spoil me from there on that out. And I haven't even spoken for the club yet. But after tacos, she took us to this ice cream and cupcake place. And I thought she was getting all these cupcakes for like a bunch of people at the talk, for everybody to enjoy. And, the family, of course, we have the 2 kids and Shelby, and some for herself. And we get to the talk, and I do my talk. Oh, and she got me a pint of ice cream, which Hummingbird white chocolate. It was so good. I wish we had something like that nearby. And then also Layla got a whole pint of ice cream for herself also. And nobody was even really eating any of the cupcakes. Like, they were all for us. Like, for 3 days after I went home, I still had cupcakes. That's how long Lady Diane was treating me to cupcakes for. And they were delicious cupcakes. But then the next day, she invited us over to her house. The best brunch I'd ever had, peekaboo eggs, stuffed blueberry French toast, a cheese platter that I thought would never end. I don't like cheese, but my kids just kept coming back to the kitchen. She had one of the coolest dogs I'd ever seen, was completely unaware of that species even existing, or that there was a meme and a TikTok sensation about this dog. And then she showed us her fish room, gave us some Vienna guppies and some orange Venezuelan cories, had endless amounts of ice cream in her freezer for us. Took us to her farm where we picked pears and got to see her horse. Rest in peace. It's just sadly passed away not that long ago, but you could tell Lady Diane gave that thing a wonderful life. It was just a bundle of joy. As soon as it noticed us, came running and screaming, and the kids just had a blast. And then also she treated us on a hike to the Missouri River, did some collecting with Gina, and then out to dinner with her. So it was really a great treat, her and her fiance. Got to meet him and got to see them again at the Keystone Clash. So we really enjoyed those. We also spoke for the Gold Coast Aquarium Society here down in South Florida, which was really a treat for us, because every single time we go down to Florida, down there. It's always for a show. We've got the kids, a lot going on, and never really had the time to go fishing, collecting, or enjoy it. And we were able to catch our first peacock bass and do a lot of different collecting. Caught a lot of first things down there, like Oscars, a lot of invasive species, jewel cichlids. Like to some people in South Florida, they're like, "Oh, those are everywhere." But like even for us, Mayan cichlids, that was our first time catching almost half of the invasive species that we have here in Florida. So that was a lot of fun. Got to do that talk, and then that's of course where Chuck was playing his video games at. But really enjoyed doing that. Let's do a giveaway. We're 45 minutes into it. We'll do a giveaway. Hashtag TGOE to get in on it last second, and we'll give away that $25 gift card. Sorry, I'm trying to remember everything. I'm talking too much. I need a break.
No, not allowed.
I feel like I might be talking a little bit too quickly, and I should slow things down a little bit. But then,
No, you're not
they'd
even
be
halfway
3
through.
hours. They'd be 3 hour lives instead of 2 hour lives. But like on Shark Tank, the guy was talking like as fast as I felt I talk, and then they're like, "Whoa, calm down." All right, spin the wheel, Shelby.
Trying to find. Okay.
59 entries, 80 people in there.
Chris Aquazone.
Congratulations, Chris. That's a face we haven't seen in a while.
All right, stop sharing. Just make sure you comment below. And then email us at thegardenofelater@gmail.com, and we'll get you your $25 coupon code for our website.
And
He's here.
we will be doing another $25 giveaway. What are we?
Writing it down.
Oh,
I forget.
sorry.
Who gets what?
So we'll be doing another $25 giveaway.
That orange thing again.
Oh, are we going to be changing the hashtag, or is it going to stay hashtag TGOE?
It's up to you.
We should change the
All
hashtag.
right.
Make the people work for it.
What do you want?
Hashtag Xmas.
You can go on with
All right.
it.
Well, you need to give me back my list. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right. So after we did the talk in South Florida came after it was before the Keystone Clash. But the Keystone Clash, this is our second year going to that. Again, no surprise, another win for Shelby. We've got a wonderful aquascape contest and a really nice fish show. Not just fish, there's art, there's invertebrates, shrimp included, and I got to judge that. And it was really just a battle of LJ and Crypt Keeper. I'm not going to say LJ took you to house, Crypt Keeper, but you got some work to do next year. It's great to see the hobby growing. It was nice, to have 8 other vendors also selling shrimp, showing that the hobby's growing, and then there's selection and variety and stuff like that. Competition is a wonderful thing. It's also nice though at the last Aquashello where we were the only shrimp vendors. So it really has it's like a double-bladed sword. Kind of, it's a great thing, a bad thing, but honestly, I'd rather there being that many different people selling shrimp, because then there's a lot of people going, there's a lot of shrimp here. Like, is it that popular? And then by the end of the show, they're like, oh, we should get a shrimp tank going. And then the next show, those people are in the hobby. So definitely happy to see that. Want to grow a couple of different things at the Keystone Clash relating to shrimp. They came to us, approached, and wanted to make that bigger section. And like I said, last few weeks since the Keystone Clash, honestly, it has just been a mad dash, because after the Keystone Clash, we had Gary Lang come to town. My parents came to town. Haven't seen them for a long time. My uncle got married. it was just a lot going on that week. And then the following week, we went to the show Animal Con, and that was our first time in Animal Con. It is basically going to Animal Con in Animal Con. Does that sound bad?
No, I'm just saying that you were rushing those other two just to make sure you get to Animal Con to announce something.
Rushing what other two? I rushed the Keystone Clash.
Yeah.
What else about the Keystone? You won, Shelby. Like I'm not going to just keep talking about your
It was a great
aquascape.
weekend. We hung out with a lot of friends.
I'm trying to think of somebody new that I met there, and I can't. So I was just
Who
like,
cares if it's
I
new?
feel like I'm gonna forget somebody, But yeah, no, it was a great show. Got to hang out with Scuba Steve, Tim. Like my cool stories I can't share with these people, Like my best friend Mike
Let's
at the
go
show.
back to your favorite time of the year.
What favorite time of the year? Animal Con was not my favorite time of the year. It was great. Don't get me wrong, But anything else you want to say about the Keystone Clash since you felt like I rushed it? Because I feel like all I did was repeat everything I had just said except for
There's
hanging
a lot
out
of
with
great
everybody.
videos out about the Keystone Clash and the aquascaping. Just because I won doesn't mean there wasn't all of the scapes being
I got to meet
really
Mark
nice
Shelley.
and
See?
really improved. It's nice to see from like last year. So like check out last year's people's aquascapes, and then this year improved like 1,000%. And then Ed had this cool little chainsaw, and I took a video of it, and I never used that video.
The
I was
chainsaw
so
was
upset.
cool.
It
Also,
is
I
so
met
cool.
Che there, and
Yeah.
then Shelby lost me, and she thought that I was getting into trouble with Scuba Steve.
Yeah.
Because she lost
Welcome
me,
in
but
chat,
I
Scuba.
just met one of our friends and followers who have been following us for a very long time since we were on the Shrimp Spot, before I even had a Facebook. So like 9 years ago, before he was even in the United States, he was in India. So it's really cool to meet somebody like that. And like an hour and a half quickly disappeared on me, and I forgot that my phone was also not on, and yeah, so I was just lost in Shelby's mind.
I got to see Dee Dee.
Yes, that. How did I forget about Dee Dee? Yeah, got to meet Dee Dee for the first time. Yeah, that upset me. She didn't
There's
get to
so
make
many
it to the
people.
year before.
I don't know if you
like,
see the middle picture. Obviously, the Keystone Clash. There's a lot of people.
She's so involved and part of our lives for like the last 2 years that I felt like I'd already met her before the Keystone Clash.
It did
So I
feel
didn't,
like that.
until you had said something, I didn't even realize that like that's where we met Dee Dee. Like it feels like it was so long ago, not 2 months ago, that
Right.
we met Dee Dee in person for the first time. That's crazy. Yeah, I guess we rushed through Keystone Clash just to get to Animal Con because there, Fluval invited us to have a little family scape off. Parents versus the kids. Layla won the kids aquascape contest, so Layla really did dominate in her aquascapes this year. And then I beat Shelby in the aquascape contest, but
That's why he
I will
sped
sell
through
this.
everything else. It's just so he could.
You're the
say
one
that he
that's like,
won.
you didn't even get halfway through. You gotta get through it. I'm like, all right, I'll start talking faster. But I did like almost crap my pants for a second because I'm trying to figure out what to do with my skate. I'm trying to get all these rocks out behind Fluval's display without knocking everything down. I'm making sure the kids have what they need. Shelby has what she needs before I start figuring out what I'm going to do. And I get going and I look over and Shelby's almost got like everything filled. And their skate looks great. And I'm going, oh no, I should just give up now. Like there's no way I can beat that. Like, oh my God. And there was like 3 people who came up behind me. The iguana guy who Sunset Iguanas or something like that. I can't remember his name now, but he's live streaming and goes, oh yeah, you guys, I'm doing a little contest here. Vote for who you think's gonna win. I'm just gonna say this one's definitely gonna win though, and pointed at Shelby's tank, and I'm just going, I know mine looks bad. I gotta do something. I gotta save it. And I had like two like towering mountains like dueling one another with this empty void in the middle, and I'm like, I don't have enough rocks for this. So all I basically did was like collapse one rock mountain onto the other and made an arch, and then put a big piece of wood on it, and I beat Shelby. And that's all. I had to throw together, and I thought I was defeated. Like I didn't think I could try, but then Shelby's tank, without any sabotage, just happened to fall apart, and she was unable to put the puzzle pieces back together to make it look as good as it did the first time. And I know that feeling because I've done that 10 times where you put even two rocks where you just find the perfect zen spot where they go together and everything meshes perfectly like it was meant to be, and then you find another one and another one and another one, and everything matches up, and you're like, it looks great, it looks natural, it looks like God did it, whatever you want to think, right? And then it falls apart and you're like, no, that's what I get for playing creator, and it all falls apart. So it's one of those things where she should have won, and I came out on top. So happy you weren't able.
I get really stressed around you. Apparently, all my contests that I win, I do the tank not around Grant, and then when I'm like next to him and we try to compete head to head, I panic and like can't do it. I don't know what it is. I'm like, just destroy. I can't do it.
Alishon says Chuck is a friend. It makes so much sense.
Cool. Cole said, what Caridina shrimp can tolerate higher temperatures during the summer? We don't know any of them.
That's the problem with Caridina shrimp is like after 76 degrees, you start to deal with bacterial infections and stuff like that. I don't know the answer, but I do have a friend in Orlando who is Tang Tai breeding outside. We tried Tangerine Tigers and just didn't get any breeding. It's a massive size tank. I would like to do something a little bit smaller, and it also had zero sun. I don't know how to do it without the temperatures. I'd have to bury it in the ground or something. I don't know.
Jeff Kane said Grant's shrimp talk is boring too. Shelby, have you been bullying Grant again? If I didn't bully him, he would not get better. Okay, you have to be critiquing of each other for us to grow and do better.
This is Shelby in the background counting all my mistakes.
I do not do that. I should though.
You do.
I honestly should.
My first talk had so many ums. Shelby's like, I'm gonna count the ums in your next talk, and then this is her. By the end of the talk, her hand got tired, and she put it down. But like, she definitely did it once.
He doesn't say like at all anymore. So you know what? It helps.
But who said an umptum amount of ums on their first talk?
That was wow. You left out my first talk for this year.
I didn't, because I'm bringing it up now. Gosh.
I definitely said every other word, and I was like, I got done with it, and I was like, Grant, that was the worst talk in human history. And he was like, no, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'm literally shaking at like the whole time, and I'm like, I just don't mind me. I can't stop it. And I'm like,
there's two
lost
things.
Trains of thought.
There's two things that I think it give like way to a bad talk. One, the person's talking all about themselves. They're full of it, and they don't really give out any information that the people can take home for themselves. Or two, it's so slow, boring, dragged out that everybody turns into Alishon and Chuck Davis, right? So it was not that. You spoke a little bit too fast. I do think that you missed a couple of things that you could have talked about. And I sabotaged that also because Shelby wanted the dip net for her talk. And I gave her two dip net parts for two different types of dip nets that didn't go together. So she's trying to figure it out. I think Dharmesh was trying to help you at one point, and neither one of them gave up. But like, I just looked at it when she gave it to me in the car. I'm like, Shelby, I gave you the green staff for the black shaft. Like, yeah.
terrible.
It was sabotage from the get-go.
And
So,
I just like shaking, trying to put it together. Forgot like half. I was like, "Yep, that's it." And then like,
but like,
it was all friends, thankfully, in the club that I've grown with for many years. So, but they all enjoyed it. They just said I needed to get that first talk jitters out.
and I just think you need more. Like if you
Still gonna
had
do
photos of all of your escapes that you just put in your video together today,
Talk
and
all day.
and talked about 2 minutes on each one of those tanks that you escaped,
Mhm.
I think you would have a solid talk that would go the proper time limit. That was the only thing wrong with their talk was it was quick. But
So I
a
was
lot of
talking
these
so
club
fast,
members,
it's
they just
rambling.
want the talk over into the auction as fast as
They were
possible.
like, "Yeah."
Or they're
we're
just there to
done.
talk to their fish friends after the meeting.
I even escaped the tank so fast. As fast as my talk was. And I was talking so fast and moving everything in the tank. They were just like, "How did you do that?" Both of them at the same time so fast. And I was like anxious. Very anxious. Lady Diane said, "Shrimp talk was so good. Our president said it may have been the best talk we've had."
I'll tell you what, the best compliments I get are from those real old timers. Like I can definitely get a
You calling
gist.
Lady Diane an old
No,
timer?
no. Don't even throw words in my mouth and twist the
Wow,
situation
how rude of
because
you.
she said that the president. So I'm calling the president an old timer, and we all know he was not an old timer by any means. But I'm telling you, you'll get some of these old guys that you know are just there for the information and maybe to get like one thing at the auction. And it's when they come to me and they go, "I've heard a lot of talks, and that was interesting. I learned a lot. One of the better talks I've ever heard." And I don't even need to be the best, but just hearing that from one of them old timers, it really gets me because those are the ones that know the most information and they know if you're worth it or not. So
Diane is Frogs and More. Thank you. And passing when Grant and Lucas can never be related. They're from two different
know
parts
what,
of
though?
the world.
did you not the Rick and Patty asked me if I was Lucas's brother. I kid you not. They asked me if I was my brother, and I was
Well,
like,
you
no.
both have like the unkept beard.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
definitely
if
shows
you
in
grew
the
your
picture
hair out,
last
it
year.
would be worse.
I definitely think No Shave November. I got a jump start on it last year before November, and I just fell into it. And I was like, oh no! And I definitely like trimmed it up in the middle of November.
I didn't
So
see this. Thank you so much, Shady Grady, for the $9.99 super chat. Says thank you so much for all the help and advice. Not to forget all the laughs every live stream. Love the way you love each other. Thank you so much.
appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you get our humor because not everybody gets. Imagine going on like a road trip with us and not getting our humor, and then just being like in the middle of like an awkward situation because you think we're about to cut each other's heads off, and then I just look at her and I'm like, "Yeah, I got you," and then everything goes back to normal, you know.
It was really funny because my best friend, the first time we were in the car, it was me and Grant, and she sit in the back, and it was like a 30-minute ride somewhere. And she got out of the car and she just looked at me and goes, "I thought you guys were arguing this whole time."
So, Steve, I got this idea that I should just shave the mustache and just like go through Lancaster at Pennsylvania and just find somebody that has like a van and just park at like one of the Amish like places and just slide the door open, and then I'll just lean out and go, "Come on, brothers, there's a better life, trust me," and just Shelby's not paying attention. I need somebody to laugh on point with that for me. And like just see if any of them like try and follow me into the van and be like, "I've got free technology and the devil's power in the back of the van. Come on, brother."
What is wrong with you? That's not funny.
And see if any of them come running. And then when they get close, be like, "He's shunned. Nobody is shunned." And then
You are awful.
just I destroyed that poor
we're
lad's
gonna
life.
we're gonna have to take him off. Quick break real quick.
That's my humor. Chattanooga Ed has the best humor, though. I can't lie.
Jenna P said, now Scotty has to invite Grant and Shelby to another talk for ACLC just to go out to dinner with them. Yes.
Oh, let's not talk about the ice cream party disaster at the Keystone Clash.
No, we need ice cream. He's literally been taking talks as long as they offer some ice cream too.
They tried, though. I saw the bananas and a few things there for the banana split party. There was ice cream, though. And I was really upset because they sold out of ice cream at the hotel. Like, how does that happen?
He said, I can't spoil completely all at once. Why does it sound like something's leaking? So weird. When do I book for 2025? I don't even know what we'll be doing in 2025. Hopefully moving.
Yeah, we got to figure out the Aquashella schedule before I can book. But I can book for 2024. I know which schedules. And if you don't want me to come and talk, Shelby has a few talks put together now.
Dirksen asked, can I come visit the garden?
So we got to meet you at one of these shows in person or something like that. I don't just let anybody come over to the house, and it has to line up with our schedule. Like, I have really close friends that have not been to the house that live locally, just because every time they ask, I'm in the middle of something chaotic, and I'm just like, now's not the right time.
I moved here.
So yeah, there's definitely a possibility, but unless I get to meet you in person at one of the events first, I'm sorry.
My goal for 2024 is to win a raffle. Well, hopefully you win one of the ones this year. Fisk said, so LRB seems to swear by rock piles for shrimp breeding. Thoughts?
So his rock pile is his nursery, right? I think as long as you have somewhere for the females to comfortably lay their eggs, and not lay their eggs, hatch out their eggs out of their little swimmerettes. The little thing blocks out all my little movements. We need to switch spots so that way I can do all my little emotions. Anyways, like, we have moss in pretty much every single one of our tanks. If there's not moss, there's some type of boost clump or Java fern or wood combination to make up for it. I have a couple of tanks also that are just bare bone that have nothing in them, and the shrimp are still breeding. So they might make the females more comfortable. It might cause them to have a couple more babies every year. Does it have to be a rock pile, though? It could be a cluster of moss. It can be a nice, stem garden in the back of the tank. But yeah, you definitely want somewhere for the females to lay their eggs. Hatch their eggs.
Yeah. I enjoy rock piles. I wouldn't do it in every tank. I think it's crazy the amount of weight. I don't know. Maybe it is displacement of water and it won't be as heavy. It's kind of like where I was talking about, or what Grant was trying to explain to me, but they look insanely heavy. And if you want a cleaner tank, I did rocks too much. But for my Sulu SA shrimp, I would do a bunch of lava rocks always, or the live coral. To me, it's just some shrimp need it, but most don't.
And here's the other thing. It's surface area. So whatever you're adding into the aquarium is just adding more biofilm for everything to grow on, and then for the shrimp to eat.
Rico Sansa, what's the hashtag for?
Which hashtag are we doing? Hashtag Xmas. It will be a TGOE t-shirt. We don't have a lot of these t-shirts left. I'm realizing we are down to a couple of each of certain sizes. By the end of it, we might be stuck with a whole bunch of one size, and we're going to figure out what size people we need to start creating to fill that void. But we got to figure that one out, and then adjust orders moving forward or whatever. But hopefully the new logo will be done by the end of the year, and then we'll have new merch and stuff and everything. New year, new us, right? That's corny, but it's kind of like what's going to happen.
Lady Diane, no, his uncle got married.
Yeah.
Eric Wyrock said, I hope Grant had an amazing birthday.
So there's a new ice cream place in town. Not everybody's a fan. I'm not always a fan, but there's times where they make certain kinds of ice cream that is like way worth the go. So I had plans. I was going to go there at 1:00 when they opened, and then I was going to go to Papa Clyde's for dessert after dinner, right? And get there at 1:16, and the place is closed. They closed the day before for the holidays. How do you close the day before my birthday as an ice cream parlor in my hometown? Like, do they not know who I am? I'm just kidding. Of course they don't know. But yeah, I was super bummed out. And then Shelby's like, "Do you want to go somewhere else?" I was like, "No, take me home. I'm gonna go sleep until the new year and they're open." But then she woke me up with shepherd's pie. It was delicious. And then she made some freaking incredible lemon white chocolate cookies that I thought were going to be all for me because I swore the kids weren't going to like them. I don't think Layla likes them. Like, she is lying to you to not hurt your feelings that she likes them.
The first night.
Yeah, but they were warm, and how do you not eat warm baked goods? Like, it's hard to turn those down. Jaden still wanted them today, but they're delicious, hands down. Like, couldn't believe that she had whipped those up.
I was trying to make it a surprise, but how much
The whole
lemon
house
zest
smelled
I
like
needed
lemon.
to do.
And not lemon pledge. It wasn't like she was cleaning.
I
It was
tried.
like
I
she was
tried to say
making
it.
some like lemon candies or something like that. But it was great. And then we went to Papa Clyde's and got large banana splits for dessert. So it was worth it.
Great. Grant got to play bouncer at the class.
I did. But
You were so loud.
Chris George was the real bouncer. I was just his backup. I said we hadn't seen him for a while. He just won. I forgot. Like, Keystone Clash wasn't that long ago. But when I think about how long it's been since I've seen Chris, it feels like forever.
Big Steve said, "Grant and Shelby, how bad is your electric bill? I know you're probably not running many heaters, but a ton of lights and pumps still add up."
So our electric bill is definitely cheaper in the winter than it is in the summer. Our AC bill is pretty much our most expensive part of the electric bill. It was more money when we ran our swimming pool as a swimming pool and not a koi pond. So it averages around $400. It can be anywhere as low as $300, as high as $450.
And Rico, he was talking about new people we met. We had met you before, but it's always a pleasure to hang out with you and your lovely wife, Michelle. Johnny said, "Grant, unlike the sellers who postpone their shipments till New Year's, do you keep shipping no matter what?"
Yeah, because this time of the year, if you're breeding your own shrimp and there's a little bit delay and you don't put 250 shrimp in one bag, they don't have any issues. Like, I even told the guy, like, you can tell some of these shrimp that were in the bag still had black eyes. Like, if it had just been delivered a day earlier, I think there would have been drastically a different story compared to what was delivered. We had an issue with some fish, which I totally expected. If there was any delays on the fish, that there was going to be some DOAs. But besides the fish, and we took those fish off, the mountain cloud minnows, the rice fish, those should do just fine, even if stuck in a colder climate and delayed for a couple extra days. But the shrimp are fine. Honestly, we just had somebody lose their box for 17 days, and all of the shrimp are still alive. So we still send out in the holidays, and it's treated us quite well in the past, so we continue to do it and don't have any issues.
Alishon said, "Did Chuck tell you the story of how he won a fish show with a dead royal pleco?"
No, but I'm gonna send that to Mark so I can remember to.
It's probably a whole story there.
Legend. Oh, hold on. If Mark's not listening,
I haven't seen him in here
Legend
tonight
has it. Chuck.
You don't have to say this out loud. Alberta said, "Having only 2 tanks, one with crystals and one with tangerine tigers, what are your thoughts on adding some of the tigers to the crystal tank?" Any chances of getting cool looking shrimp from it? Stop touching the fidgeting stuff, okay?
All right. So, what are your thoughts on adding some of the tigers to the crystal tank? Any chance of getting cool looking shrimp? So, basically, not really from those two crosses. I would personally keep the crystals pure and the tangerine tigers pure, just because they both do better and they're in more demand as just the way they are. When you cross them, they make Tang Tai, and you're going to be several generations before you make anything different than just normal tangerine tigers. If you like tangerine tigers with red stripes and dots instead of black dots, that's easy enough to do. But like that's the coolest thing that comes out of that cross, and it's not that cool. So I would keep them separate.
Derf Son said, "Is there a playlist of Shelbyscapes?" So I do have most of them on TikTok, and then I have recently do not. You're like a kid.
I tried.
You're like a cat. I gotta keep away from things. And I've been recently posting on Instagram more because I realize a lot of people don't like TikTok. So, and Instagram goes to Facebook. So all three of those platforms should have a video in this Aquascapes. I don't think I'll get any more done this year. Just so busy. So I'll probably post a wrap-up video for 2023. And then hopefully we'll
I didn't
get
tell you we're probably going
a
to go
ton
to
of
the
them.
Panhandle in like a week or so with Ryan and everybody.
No.
No, I just found out about it today. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're even telling me and not just telling me to get in the car.
I wanted you to go. You don't tell me anything. And I was going to go like that was. We just talked about it on the phone earlier today.
SC Catapult says, "What? Throat punch? Who said that?"
At the right time.
Scuba, 5 months. Thank you so much. And he just said 5 months. Johnny said, "Grant, you would make a good Amish actor." Yeah, he could fit in for sure. And then the worst part is that if I definitely put on one of those dresses, I look like every Amish wife there is because I don't wear makeup, so I look a little out of place compared to everyone else. I'm usually wearing like long, flowy dresses.
I think
So,
in like another
it doesn't help him.
another 10, 20 years though, I'm going to try and get them to recreate the Abraham Lincoln zombie movie, and I'll try out for that.
Rico said,
I'll give you
"Ice cream
honest
party." I missed that one. Must have been for the cool kids.
I missed it too, Rico.
Benjamin Peters said, "The Eaters may become the world's first shrimp ranchers." We should dress up as like cowgirl and do a video. Be like, "Welcome to my shrimp ranch."
It's got to be like Futurama
So
when I can't remember her name, but she goes to marry the little green guy on the other ship, Zap ship, and he's got to meet their parents, and she has a ranch on Mars. It's got to be like that.
I'm really upset that I can't remember her name. Okay. Amy, there we go.
All right, so Animal Con. The kids got to hold a bunch of different animals. Layla got to play with an owl. Custom Cages had this cool little deal going on where you could pay like $10 or $15 to spend 5 minutes with a lynx or a cat. And it's basically got us decided that we're going to buy one instead of spending $10 for 5 minutes. Makes much more sense. So we talked about something. And Shelby's like, "We're not going to get a cat." And I'm like, "No, we're going to get a cat here soon. We'll use this for the cat." And she's like, "Yeah, right." And then I reminded her about the lynx, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
Yeah, because he can't get a normal cat for the family. It has to be something ridiculous. It's okay. I mean, I'm also ridiculous, so it's not like I don't want one. We just have to build I want a really long outdoor cage for
We're
it.
not ridiculous. Look at the notes for the next one. But Animal Con's great. We got to see people like Serpa Design, Dan the Turtle Man, Greg the Pond Guy, but also like other people that we had never seen before, like Dingo, and then Prehistoric Pets. Jay was there, Forrest Gallant. And then, Will Nace, a couple of our other friends were also there. So it was really cool to meet them, take a little vacation, enjoy the pool. We were only there to set up the aquascapes one day and then tear them down.
I never felt so small of a YouTuber, like super, like even Aquashella. Like I feel like I can kind of fit in with some of them, but I've never felt like such a small YouTuber till we were with all those YouTubers, and I'm like,
there's 4 people there that knew who we were.
And that's because they met us before at one of the other shows. And every time they look at our account, they're like, wait, you don't have that many followers? I'm like, no. You got to put in more content. You got to put in more work for the followers. That's for sure. Chiller Method said 2 IBC tote full of Neos or a new 9 by 10 gallon row of Caradina tanks. Which one will be more profitable in 2024?
Definitely the IBC totes full of Neos. Those are going to outproduce and be bread and butter for just about everything. If you do 9 10-gallon Caradina tanks, even if you do Tangerine Tigers and Crystal Shrimp and Orange Eye Blue Tigers, like those serious bread and butter at Caradina, you can still do 1 IBC tote of greens and outsell all the rest and outbreed all the rest. So if I had to choose, I don't know. One of my biggest regrets is not starting up that greenhouse with the Neo Caradina sooner. Like I bought $500 worth of ponds and tubs and aquaponics setups off of one of my buddy, and it was a steal. Like we got $3,000 worth of stuff out of that deal, and didn't put it to use for many years. It just sat in the backyard doing nothing. Is that actually LRB's name now? Most underrated game changer. The rock piles for the win all day.
Of it.
Yeah, that's what I saw right off the rip, and then I was like, "This is an easy answer."
Did you finish
wait
this?
Too long. Yeah, I finished it. We're good.
And Scotty said, "Already paying for you guys to come to Pennsylvania once in 2024, not doing it twice, but I want to come to Pennsylvania twice. I love Pennsylvania. It's like we've now been there twice, both times, good experiences. And then what was that Amish house that food was so good."
The Amish house was horrible.
The food we ate right before we left.
Oh, at the Keystone Clash. I thought you were talking about ACLC. We went to some place after that. It was not good.
Could be a bundle of sticks.
No, I had something
Most underrated game changer. Yeah, he changes his name all the time. He was talking about that to someone the other day.
So, Scotty, I was talking with Lisa of Super Cichlids when we were at the Keystone Clash, and she introduced me to her club director. So I don't know where it is up north, but it might be close enough that you can meet us for dinner still.
Have a good night, Rico. He's probably left by now. We're so far behind in chat.
Oh, no.
Scuba Steve, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I don't know why I'm not seeing these anymore. For the Nano all-in-one I got from you, and Harley still got the OG Scape in there. Nice. Thank you so much, Scuba.
Listen, the $5 isn't going to get you out of your other half of the contract. You still have to set that up, make it look really good, and bring it back to one of the next shows. You can't just like, $5 is good, right, brother? Like, that ain't going to work. That's Harley's money anyways. You got to pay him for it. I threw some wood and stuff in there that somebody gave me because I gave them a cookie. And I think they got the better end of the trade, if you ask me.
He said it took him 20 minutes to send that super chat. Oh, man.
All right, so back to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we were just at Animal Con. A week after Animal Con, we had no time to relax. We packed our bags and headed to South Carolina for our first time doing a one-day show there. A couple of friends were like, hey, let's go collecting. So we planned it out, and then those couple of friends were like, we're not going to make it. So it ended up just being a simple work show. We went, we came, we saw, we conquered, fell in love with the crocodile. And by the end of the night, the first setup night was Friday. We were gone, left Saturday. But Friday night, I had convinced Shelby to let me take home this crocodile. It was only $350. And before in the past, I was like, crocodile's got to be like a couple $1,000. Plus the habitat's going to be super expensive, not just up front, but like in the future. Like I knew what I was getting myself into. But I was like, we're ready. we can do this from the baby stage and then grow it out at our house, and then when we move, we can just set up a proper forever home for the thing, right? And then we found out we needed the permits, and it's going to take us some time to get the permits, so we couldn't take home the crocodile. But I held one in my hand for the very first time, and it's definitely something that might be a possibility in 2024. If we don't get a lynx or something along those lines, we're going to get tortoises or something. We need a different, like, zoo style animal project to fill that void, because the end game, the goal for us eventually is to have our own little zoo. Nothing massive. I ain't talking like the St. Louis Zoo or anything like that. I'm talking something that Spring Hill
More
or
like a
Hernando
sanctuary.
County or wherever we're at can actually be proud of, instead of what we have in our local town now.
I'm sorry, I'm a mess. Sterling Aqua Shop said,
Get your crap together, okay? Shelby?
my strips you sent me on Saturday got here today, and then I'm in Colorado. I can't believe that went that fast.
I'm glad to hear that. I hope somebody else got their shrimp today too, because they were worried about it. They have surgery on Wednesday, so
Oh.
I wasn't worried about you, Sterling.
Brandon said, net some pygmy fish. Yep, I was just putting all the clips together, and there's one of my favorite pygmy fishes in the wrap up of 2023. We caught some really pretty, like, red coloration pygmy fish.
Problem is right now it is so dry and cold, so like it's just not a good combination to go collecting. You have to leave the car and walk very far in the cold.
Zin said we need to get Shelby a bonnet for the next trip. It'd be funny. We'd fit in way too fast. And then Chiller Message said, big cat shrimp sanctuary. No, not just one cat. We're not. I mean, Grant does like
We're
big
more
cats,
into
but maybe
Baskin
one.
Robbins, not the other Baskin.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe like one or two, but it would never be like more than that, unless we plan on like breeding them, and that would just be the cats. But other than that,
And I'm
it's
definitely
more of a
just breeding
reptile.
to take over Joe Exotic's work on making the saber-toothed tiger. I would do nothing other than trying to recreate that. I ain't trying to breed tiger pups for money or to cuddle them. Definitely not that.
Larry D, note to self: next Keystone Clash, bring bonnet and Amish hat for Sean Grant. That is so funny. Oh, it'd kill me. Oh.
I did work on a tractor for 10 years of my life at least.
Scotty said that he lives closer to Lisa than I do where the Clash is.
So you have no excuse, is what you're saying.
Where in South Carolina? It's in Charlotte.
No, that's North Carolina. I think it's actually.
Oh, South Carolina.
I can't remember.
It
off
is
the top of
Columbia
my head.
then.
Is it Columbia? I think we just drove through Columbia. I don't think we were actually in Columbia. It might be Columbia though. I might be wrong. I think it might be. I think Shelby might be right. Look it up later. All right. We'll talk about the Aqua Expo then while you look that up. Aqua Expo is the show in South Florida hosted by Coral Springs and the Golden Coast Club that I had spoken to recently in that year. It is a 2-day show hosted in a little hotel with peacock bass in the back and snakeheads and stuff like that. We've done this show several times. This is actually our first show that got us into doing these, made it worth it. So we continue to go back, have a lot of fun. It was a little chaotic this time with 3 different rooms, but really we're there for the people. Got to hang out with Richard, Mark, Ryan, go collecting, had a lot of fun, got to meet Eric for the first time, not Wyrock, Smithson. And then we went collecting for croaking Grammies for the first time. Shelby didn't catch any, but I did. Then
To be fair, the ledge was absolutely ridiculous, and I was down there with a tank. It was just not safe. You're literally on, like, you know those videos of the goats on like the cliffs? That's not the cliff it was to get down there and get it. And then there was like 4 or 5 guys in the way, so I'm not gonna push past everyone. So I just waited for one of you to collect it for me. I mean, what's the harm in knowing that it's easier for you to do the job for me?
Well, I'm just giving her crap for not catching any because later on that night, she caught a whopper of a snakehead. Like, completely blew the little tiny thing that I caught the day before.
And I thought yours was so big.
Yeah, completely out of the water. She left a bruise the size of Texas on her behind because of it, but I thought she smashed her head on the rock behind her, and the way she took off her headlamp and held her head and rolled over on her side, I was like, oh no, we got to find the nearest hospital. But no, she was fine. Caught like a 2.5 foot, if not longer, snake's head, and yeah, it was well worth the fall, if you ask me.
Sorry, Zen goes, so competitive. What is it like when y'all play board games in your house? Or is it already something you've taken off the list for safety reasons?
We don't play a lot of gin rummy, but like every time I need a pick me up,
It's
I like
so
to bring
bad.
out the cards. You know,
Yeah, but I do beat you sometimes.
only in
and he'll
7
get
card.
salty
If
sometimes.
we play 14 card, I'll beat you
Yeah.
99 times out of
That is
100.
true. But Monopoly is one thing for sure. I absolutely will not play with Grant or Jaden for that matter. Both just school me and Layla, and I'm just like done with it. I don't know. They just both have really good luck, land on the good pieces, and then you're just done for and you're broke within a minute. So that's a no-go. But dominoes is a safe option. So we play dominoes and cards once in a while and sequence. We love sequence because that's more of a, you do have to have some wits about you, but it's more of, draw the luck on that one too. Sibley said, I've seen in Singapore Shrimp Affair use UGF filters with no substrate. I know no substrate can affect the color of the shrimp. Could you paint the bottom of the tank to help with the color while having bare bottom?
So I think you can, but here's my problem is when you paint it, it's still glossy and it's still reflecting light. So the light's going to reflect off of it and bounce up, and it stresses out the shrimp more than you think it does, and that causes it to lose color. So you definitely want some type of texture there to absorb some of that light, if you ask me. But like it should work in theory. I just think that reflecting light does a little bit more than what we're thinking it does. Also, back to the last statement, we had to put up the boxing gloves also. Like,
That's because he almost knocked me out. Did you want to bring that up? He literally hit me in that back of the head so hard I
No.
couldn't see.
listen, someone goes and has their shoulder right here and it's like, oh, I'm gonna dodge, and then puts her face right in front of where my fist goes. Okay, I'm
You
aiming
mean the
for
back of the
shoulders.
head.
All of a sudden, a shoulder turns into a head because you're also doing this because you're like, I'm gonna dodge it, and you just place your head right into it. So, yeah. You also got me a bazillion times, so
No.
don't even go there.
Brandon said, Sir, Google a lynx. Half the images are in snow. Or tortoise in Florida makes more sense.
Listen,
It was an indoor cat. One.
if it wasn't a lynx, there was something else.
It's a
that we
different
wanted.
name. It's not the lynx. It's
Starts with an
ocelot.
S. Yes. Doesn't start with an S, but has a strong S. Okay, I was close enough.
Oh man.
All right, so the Aqua Expo, a lot of fun. But the very next week after that was Aquashella Daytona, and we competed in the fluvial contest, like we talked about before. Not quite sure where we placed. They never announced the top 5, but Shelby did walk out of that one a winner because she took the best freshwater display at Aquashella for her tank that she scaped for Carib Sea. And fun fact about that, it was pretty much the exact same tank as the one that she entered at the Keystone Clash and won. However, she was trying to clean it because it got a little funky with the biofilms on the wood and
Really
stuff,
soft wood.
and all of it fell apart. And she had to redo it, and that fell apart. And then she redid it again and painted a really nice art piece on the back of it. And the whole thing really did come together. And in the center of Aquashella, it was hard not to notice it at the show. So, easy to see why
That's
she
fun.
won Best Freshwater Aquascape, even though there was a lot of nice ones there. She definitely deserved that. What?
It seemed like you like someone else's one.
I said even though. I said well deserved.
Even though there was like 6 others that should have won.
Yeah, somebody did this really
Jeff.
nice scape where they punched out a lot of these like little tiny leaves and then had it in their aquarium to where the filter was pushing it around and like it made like this cool fall effect. If you haven't seen Fluval's YouTube videos on it yet, you go check that out. It's really cool and neat. But like, yeah, you know. It was my tank, by the way. That's why Shelby's laughing.
J-Dub said, dry. It rained for 24 hours straight in Florida. River is in my yard. I can collect from my back door.
Yeah, but like those were ponds, or I'm sorry, ponds that were completely dry that have no fish in it now have water in it. The big lakes and bodies of water, yeah, they were flooded, but like it's going to take some time before the smaller fauna have time to rebound. Because in the slow ponds, they're getting nailed by the larger prey.
We would still throw a hat in if we had any left. We absolutely have none left, and we have not been able. We want to change the logo, and then we'll get them again. It's just going to be really hard because those hats are very expensive. So it cost us like $30 to make those because they're hand.
It was $24, and I think
right.
we're selling them for $27. So we're making $3 per hat, and I think we gave half of them away.
More than half of them.
We definitely lost money on that.
I think we only sold like a handful.
But like they were given to people that gave us hats or you know, wear them like a banner to a lot of these shows. So we really appreciate their support.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of when we have the time to get more, and they were usually giveaways or to someone in the fish fam.
So Aquashella, we got home, and then we had a letter in the mailbox from the insurance company that said they were canceling and not accepting our renewal. So found out they were getting out of the entire state of Florida, had to shop around for some new insurances, and we completely had to go through and put a cover over the hot tub, fence in the pool, clean out the pool, trim all the bushes in the backyard, fix a couple electrical panels up, and just make sure the house was presentable for a home inspector to come over. And this did put a damper on our situation. So when I say we didn't make it to 500 tanks this year, no excuses, but we do have some obstacles that we were unable to overcome. So we did not make it to the 500.
What I heard.
We did not make it to the 500 tanks this year. Have no fear, though. Shelby's fish room will be set up as soon as we get caught up on these water changes.
New year, new fish room, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
J-Dub said boxing rematch may double your subs.
But that wasn't the last bit of competition or something like that we have for the year. Shelby took part in her first international online contest. It's a Ukrainian organized contest. It's Follow Nature. It's an international biotope contest. And Shelby took home not just 4th place, but also 1st place too. So she did a great job. It was a lot of work for her to go through, test all the water, write up the whole description, get video and pictures of the entire biotope, and then put together an amazing scape. So she really did an incredible job this year with her aquascaping. Endless amount of talent now coming out of her work. So just about everywhere we go, she's trying to put something together. And it's not easy sometimes, the stuff that she comes up with. So,
and some of them don't come out. And I spent 2 hours doing it. And you can ask everyone in the our Pasco Club meeting who watched me struggle to carry a full 5-gallon tank full of substrate water and everything. And that thing was not clearing up, and it looked terrible, and I had to dump it. It was just pointless. There was no quality to that at all, and that's when I did my frog tank instead. That was a
There was some fails, but
there's
most
definitely like 3 of them.
mostly success if you count the 5 aquascaping wins you took this year. So 6. Sorry, I miscounted. My bad.
Keep
But-
forgetting about the Florida State Fair. He does not want me to win again this year.
No,
Pulling all
actually,
the stops out with this one.
that one I wasn't counting the Aquashella with
Oh.
all of your wins. So.
So
But yeah, you did great. On top of all of that, we tried to let's do a giveaway. It's past time. We got 2 giveaways to give out. Let's do a giveaway. Hashtag Xmas. Last chance to get in on your T-shirt. Like you mentioned, these are going out of stock fast now. Any day now, Shelby.
I'm going.
So while we're talking about that, you can spin the wheel already.
Yeah. I'm just refreshing it one more time. It seems a little laggy.
All right, still 59 entries. Nobody knew. Maybe we lost. All right,
Oscars.
congratulations, June.
I know you're still here. I think you were just commenting a minute ago. Just make sure you comment below.
All right, the next one is going to be hashtag space because that's the next topic we're going to be talking about.
All right. Why am I doing this? I'm still
All right, so
not all here.
for the last 2 years now, we have made attempts to send shrimp into space, talking Neocaridina, and the first year we were unsuccessful. They had some issues with engine failure and clearance of launch and weather and stuff like that. This year, we managed to get shrimp into space. The rocket was a successful mission up. However, it was not successful in its landing, and there was a horrible crash with no survivors, and we were unable to recover any of the shrimp to try and breed them out and to get some astronaut shrimp genetics going. So hopefully we'll get to try again next year. I have been told that the program leader, the student that was running it, is graduating. So we'll have to find out if they're interested in doing that program yet again. For those that are interested in it, we have live streams. I don't want to take up too much of our time because I could talk about shrimp in space and all the scientific mamba jumbo that you have to do with that for an hour or so. But hopefully we'll get to try again next year. We did set up a couple of racks in the garage from taking down the racks in the bedroom. We do have a bunch of new plant tubs outside. We've got about 400 to 600 of these bins that we're filling up with a variety of different substrates, trying to grow everything from Anubis to different stems, cryptocorns, the swords, boosts, you name it. We're trying to grow it probably immersed outside. We made a bunch of a room because of the insurance company had to have us remove our deck. So we basically have that whole spot now. We can put a bunch of pots out there. It's already shaded, so that works out perfectly for us. Because we took down the rack by the front door, we redid that rack also. That is our newest addition. That is now holding 32 tanks instead of 28 tanks. So all that worked for an extra 4 aquariums. And with that rack being done and moving the tanks from the bedroom to the garage and some of them to Jaden's room, we have gone up to 420 aquariums for the house if you don't count the reptile tanks. So we are up in numbers. We are above the 400, just not quite at that 500 where we wanted to be. I'm not going to set a goal for 600 for next year. I'm just going to simply set up the goal to finish the next 5 racks for next year. That's our goal. That's my goal so far.
Joe Kane said, "What are we playing for?"
Oh, hashtag space. Let's make this a $25 gift card, and if we have time before it ends, we'll do another one. But we'll do this one in like 5 or 6 minutes. Let's get through a couple of these tags. We got another comment? Anything in chat we need to catch
Scotty
up on?
saying it seems to be a common mystery tonight.
What is?
What we're giving away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to give it away. It doesn't mean I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm trying to give away my chore list this week. So we pretty much have no tanks in the bedroom right now. There are some temporary ones, however, nothing permanent. So there's definitely room. We've got plans for 36 smaller Achilles tanks, and then 2 racks that will both hold 36 aquariums, 10 gallons themselves. And then we're going to move some tanks around in the hallway eventually too, so that way Shelby can do some 20 gallons with Gaideans.
Whip says, "Where do you sleep?" A 210 setup in the bedroom.
On a water bed full of wet red cherry shrimp. Duh. No, I don't think I'd be able to get any sleep in a water bed. But we do have room in the bedroom.
You know, it's crazy though. We'd have more if we didn't have a gigantic bed that is not able to move anywhere. Like if we were able to shift the bed where I wanted to on the other wall, then we would have been able to fit 2 huge rows of tanks and fit like at least 30.
You'd have to go down to
more.
a queen size bed to fit a trash can on both sides.
And he doesn't want that because I flail and he'd probably get punched in the face.
70% of the bed as it is. When we go to hotels and we have to sleep in the smaller beds, I'm like, there's no room
off
here.
Me. He's pushing me over.
I take all of our luggage and I build up an extra size with the couch cushions to try and make the couch bigger, the bed bigger.
Oh man! All right, where are you at?
Oh, I'm sorry. So we did finish Jaden's room. The video is not finished yet. We're working on that, but his room does now have 56 aquariums. We fixed all of the damage that we had the year before from the leak. It was a process, but remember we had to move all the aquariums out of that room and set them up on this rack behind us. So it was a task. Got it all done, though. I don't know if this rack was done or not in the beginning of the year. I can't remember now.
Yes, it was this year.
Yeah?
Yeah, the pictures. Right. So,
okay.
Yeah, we put that rack this year.
So
Josh came to visit.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, it's been a year, but, you know, Jaden's room being done was a big achievement because we didn't just put tanks in it. We set it up with a bunch of Nerf guns. And now it's a good kid's room. It's not just Grant's breeding room that Jaden sleeps in.
I like this comment. Zen Ginger said Grant getting the honeymoon suite but with 2 beds. He wouldn't sleep on it. Like, you know, we get the 2 beds sometimes, and he refuses to sleep on the other one. He's just like, I can't do it.
There's been one time though when Shelby she was like burning up like a furnace, and I was like, I can't do this. The AC wasn't working like proper, so that's like the only time where I was like, all right, we gotta go separate beds.
I usually am like 200 degrees. You know? Fire's raging inside. It just sometimes they overheat a little bit. But and then Amisa said I can never sleep in a waterbed. I love waterbeds. My aunt had one growing up, and it was like every weekend I got babysat, like the first thing I do is jump into that waterbed, and I'm like curled up in it. I love them. They're so comfy.
So you were right. I did rush through the Keystone Clash because I forgot one of the notes for it. We got new shrimp. We got some Red Riding Hoods. They are the red head, red Rillies. We got those from LJ. And those are still doing really well. Hopefully see some breeding or something out of those. The tank light is not on them right now. I forgot that was a 2-part light setup, and I got to move a bigger light over their aquarium because there's not enough outlets there now that we set up the new rack. So we'll be fixing that here soon. And I'll be able to take pictures and figure out how they're doing. And then on top of all of that, let's just do this giveaway before I go into speakers.
Yeah, see the back. I swear the waterbed like contorts with you, so like your back doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah, but I feel like every time I roll over, I'm gonna wake up Shelby, and every time
It's not that bad. It's not as drastic as you. It's not like
the Neffs had a waterbed.
Then it maybe wasn't like again.
I don't know.
Again. Maybe it wasn't
Inflated enough?
not filled enough. Like it needed to
Maybe.
be.
But we could put the pug on one side of the bed and sit on the other side, and the pug would get air. So
I'm thinking you're talking about future pug that you're gonna get me, and I was so happy for a second. Then I remembered that
Rito.
they had the pug.
Yeah.
That looked like a little salami roll. That thing was so fat. That was so cute, though. All right.
All right. So hashtag space. Get your last entry in.
55 entries. And let's go.
Oh, there's
Living
music.
Dream Aquatics.
Well, that one was fast.
All right. Congratulations. Send us a message. And then let's do another giveaway. You pick the hashtag this time, Shelby.
Hashtag 2024.
No, hashtag. All right, fine. But it's
Yeah,
2023.
because we're
not
looking
there
forward
yet.
to
We've
it.
got another live stream before that.
No,
All right.
we don't.
Well, she picked it. So we'll do this giveaway after I get through the speakers and the new things we learned this year. So we did have some great new speakers come to our club this year. Mo Devlin, right off the top of the list. He was who I considered one of the better photographers of aquarium fish in the United States. We invited him over the house, and I was fully expecting him to, take a bunch of his own pictures around the house and stuff like that. Instead, and this is what we wanted more, he coached us, Shelby mainly, with the camera, and went through and showed her like what to do and what settings to choose and stuff like that, and really upped our game. On top of that, he showed us some new lights, and those are what we bought. And if you've seen our Instagram over the last month, I've been trying every single day to post a new shrimp photo on there. It's not always a new type of shrimp. Sometimes you see a lot of green. On my birthday, you couldn't say anything. I was definitely posting the green shrimp. Like, I was getting away with it then. But hopefully, as we start to do more water changes, I took a bunch of pictures of the shrimp behind us. So there will definitely be some new varieties on there. Like today, Snow White. I don't think I posted a Snow White on there ever. So I'll definitely be getting some new variety out there. But we have Mo to thank for that. And then hopefully Shelby resigns from her job in the near future, not distant. That was the wrong thing to say. And we'll be able to spend more time editing and pulling out the camera and getting some really nice high definition photos.
Yeah. Next year for me is more of a focus for aquascaping. So besides videos. So hopefully we don't have to work so much. Fist said, if you want to cross a blue Neo and green Neo, which would you cross?
I would use the green emeralds or green jades. It really doesn't matter. And I would use blue dreams over blue diamonds.
I'm glad you knew how to answer that, because I was just not making sense of that at all.
You're still like, I'm not going to admit that I'm 100% right, but it's still a high chance you're just going to get wilds no matter what cross or combination you do. So that's just what route I would go if I wanted to try and take that route.
This is for another $25 gift card to the website, though,
yeah.
if no one caught that earlier when Grant said it.
And then Gary Lane came to town. One of the best takeaways from Gary Lane is when I dropped him off at the airport, he said that he had more time. He wished he had more time to spend at the house and viewing the shrimp and stuff like that. And that coming from the godfather of rainbows, or whatever you want to call Gary Lane. But He's prestigious in his own right. And when I first met him at the Triple Crown last year, and I told him what I was into and how many shrimp tanks we had, he was like, "Really? Like, this guy's crazy. Like, why would you dedicate that much time and space?" But he definitely understood by the end of it what we had done and had going on, and could really appreciate it. So, from a living legend like Gary Lang, that really did mean a lot. Then we had master fish breeder Dean from Aquarium Co-op. Definitely great guy, real funny, lots of knowledge. We did a lot of collecting with him. It was a lot of fun. I could definitely see us bringing him back, if not at the end of next year, for sure in 2025 for our club. He's just got a lot to speak on. Corey's his own right, but great in his own right. But like Dean is definitely like that. I don't know, diamond, not even diamond in the rough, because it's such a great channel. But like Dean, to be a part of all of that, he's just so lucky. Not Dean being lucky, Corey is lucky to have someone like Dean being around. You can definitely spend a day with Dean and learn a lot. And then we had the Bod Rocks, Eric and Regina, powerhouse right there. If I ever had to, pick one besides us, LRB said his favorite fish room that he had ever seen was Regina's, and I had heard all of this stuff about Eric. And then, when we had gone up to, it's not the Lancaster Aquarium Society, but yeah, it was the No, where did I speak? The Pittsburgh Aquarium Society. They had offered us to go to the Bod Rocks to go see a fish room, and I didn't know the Bod Rock name. I don't even know if they used the Bod Rocks, but it wouldn't have mattered. I didn't know who they were at the time, and I was like, I don't need to go see some fish room. We're gonna go see the zoo, and I can't remember what else we did while we were there, but I was like, we got enough on our plate. I don't need to go see a fish room. And I'm kicking myself to this day that we didn't take them up on that and go see that, because for LRB to say that that's his favorite fish room really says something. And Regina doesn't get as much hype as Eric does. So I definitely got to see that. Hopefully next year we can make a trip to Ohio or that side of Pennsylvania and go check them out. But again, wealth of knowledge. And we went and did a lot of collecting with them. And so throughout the year, I want to try and learn at least one new fish species. And between Dean, the Bod Rocks, and going down to South Florida, we definitely learned a lot. Silver sides, not the wolffish, the rockfish, I can't. Oh, that's not. I didn't even write that many fish that we had learned, but different shiners, golden shiners, the not coastal shiners, but the metallics, and then we had a couple different types of catfish, the hoplo catfish that we caught at Cruise Lake Park, then just the jewel cichlids and other stuff like that, and the Keys, the Mayan cichlids, being able to identify those between the tilapia and stuff like that. I'm going to count that.
Pike live bears, that was cool to catch.
Yeah, oh man,
they're pike live bears.
Yeah, but there's the other name for them, and I can't think of it. And I had it at the tip of my tongue, and then I can't think of it now. It's what I was calling them throughout the entire time while we're down there, and I don't even think it's right, but it's close enough.
Alishon said Gary was not impressed with my fish room. No rainbows.
See, I made sure we went and got some rainbows and a few pseudomigills before Gary came here. One of our nicer fish tanks are the Madagascar rainbows, and I thought he was going to hate on them because they're not from Papua New Guinea or Australia, but no, he enjoyed them. So definitely don't have a nice rainbow collection, but we have the dwarf neon rainbows in good color too, and they're healthy. So there's at least some rainbows here in the house for them.
Chiller Master said just check the Insta, and Shelby's got some photo skills. Can't wait to see you move into video in same style. Most of those pictures on Instagram right now are Grant's. There is a few select that are mine.
It's like
Grant
90% me though.
Yeah, his phone is definitely way better than mine, so I don't even attempt to take pictures. I've showed him multiple times.
But when it comes to the DSLR, Shelby has more skills than I do on that. And it does take a way better photo. It's just way more work, effort, and you do have to take more photos. Where I really have the phone dialed in, and 90% of the skill is having the right light. We did buy $120 lights, so
yeah, and phone.
Yeah,
mine for some reason, I don't know if it's my cameras that I've maybe scratched up over the years, and my phone's pretty old now, so it just doesn't do what his does. It's just one model older than his, and I don't know why his does so well.
But what's the shiner that we got in?
It's unidentified.
No, not that one. The one.
It's not a shiner for mine.
No,
that I used in my computer.
So when we're at Buford Springs, we thought we were catching bluefin killies. They're not. They were a shiner.
They're not a shiner. They're a chub. I've already told you about that. That's in my competition thing.
Okay.
They're a red-eye chub.
So we have those to our list also.
Yeah, they're really cool. For sure. You still really don't see them that often around here. And we haven't been able to catch them there. I guarantee you if we went now, because it's been raining so much, because the last time we went was so raining.
last time we were there.
No.
I caught one or two.
Not the right ones. Nick said, did you get an ice cream cake for your birthday?
No, not an ice cream cake. I got a banana split, though. So it was
good. Every time we get a banana split, people look at us like we're insane because they are
You're sharing that, right? And then they see them making another one, and they're like, I could do that when I was that young.
It's hilarious. But we didn't have dinner. Like when I mid the shepherd's pie early.
I had seconds, and I would have had thirds, but the dang sun is eating it.
Jaden did eat it, but I had planned on the shepherd's pie and then the cookies, both made from scratch. So it wasn't like I just threw in some leftovers and made him dinner.
And I could have easily filled up on cookies, but I did have to get my revenge on not getting ice cream and getting skunked at the first place. So
yeah, and he can actually make ice cream sandwich with the cookies. He's just gotta warm it up a little bit, those cookies, and then
I'm not even gonna warm it up.
Oh, it'll be good.
They're good without it.
Are you all cut up?
Yeah, so pretty much that's gonna be it for the year. I can't think of something that we did or didn't do.
Probably a lot.
We did have some new products come up on the website throughout the year, and then to top off the year, you show them off. We do have some new products that we will be launching.
Well, they're on the website. They just don't have pictures.
Oh, okay.
So they're there. The mineral hearts, which are really cute. You just throw them in the tank. You leave them in there. They're just a little mineral for the shrimp.
Not going to lie. They were a little expensive. I thought they were going to be much bigger.
They are quite large.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be as good as Grant's.
8 of them.
From Crayfish Empire. We plan on carrying those also. But
cute.
They're hearts, and I figured, if they didn't sell by the time it was Valentine's Day, we can just put a bunch of hearts throughout all the tanks, and it's just extra minerals, calcium. It's not going to hurt the shrimp. How much is it needed for your aquariums? I'm going to say if you're not having really bad molting issues and you haven't already tried the Shell Envy shrimp foods and other things like normal water changes, and you're still having molting issues, maybe try the mineral hearts. But I more want them for our snails than our shrimp.
Next is going to be the Bacter AE.
Not Bacter AE.
So many people were asking for this, so might as well carry it for the people that do want to use it. I do want to run a couple tests on them myself, so it's a good thing to bring it in and just have it. So there will be probably some videos on us testing side by side shrimp together and that's going to be in my fish room. So that will be later in the year. Of if it helps or if it doesn't, we'll find out.
Well, there's two things I want to talk about the Bacter. One is there is a lot of people out there who are new to the hobby and see that as like, oh, that's that magical potion that you can put into the shrimp tank, and they start dosing it as what's recommended on the jar. And I think what's recommended on the jar is like for full blown breeding colonies.
Even
it's
on their
not,
website, it's daily.
It's
It's
not the best thing to be adding to your tank all the time. It is a biofilm builder. Biofilm uses oxygen. If you don't have a proper flow, proper oxygen source, proper aeration for your tank, you're not going to do well with this product, and it can cause more harm than good. There's been several people who accuse it of causing their shrimp to crash and cause issues. Was it the problem? I don't know, but there's too many people out there that are, reporting that to be the problem. So I don't really like to recommend it as a product. But then at the same time, there's other people who run into situations where they need to set up an aquarium fast, whether they made a bad decision and they bought shrimp on the fly without having the tank set up, or they had one tank break and they need to set up another one or something like that, and they've got to establish a lot of biofilm quickly. That's the product, Bacter AE, to do that job the best. So we would like to carry this for those that need this product on hand. Maybe it's something to have in the medicine cabinet for an emergency in case you are not blessed to have a large amount of aquariums for backup tanks and stuff like that. So it's a product that I'm going to carry and then probably have like a warning label that we will send with this going out. I know the Bloomfields do that. I really want to do like a video where I go, hi, how's it going? You just bought some Bacter AE off our website. Did I even say that right? And just make fun of myself for that. And then talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of that product so people are fair warned about it. Also, that would be in the link of the description before you bought the product in the future. It's not there yet, but yeah.
Got a lot of work to do next year. It's already lining up one after one.
And then the newest product on our list is this shrimp fit. Back in the day when we were buying a lot of shrimp, we would use this beta-glucan. It's the same type of product from the same company. I can't remember what the difference exactly is between the one and the other, but this basically is something that you're going to want to add to your shrimp tanks if you're ever having any immunity issues, problems with the immune system. Also, it's something good to add to the tank when you have new shrimp that build their immune system, because it is compromised through stress with shipping. So it is a great product to have because we don't really buy that much shrimp or get that much shrimp. It's not really something I've had on hand, but I did want to buy a couple of different varieties, and we were getting shrimp from the Bloomfields to hold down while they were moving. So I wanted to have this as kind of a safeguard for when they came. We ordered this right after Aquashella, and it just now got here today. So it took a lot of time to get through customs to be imported and shipped over here. So it's a little late, but we'll definitely be keeping a jar for ourselves for if we ever get new shrimp, ever buy a shrimp room or something like that in the future. That is what I would recommend adding to the aquarium to give yourself a little bit added insurance.
Nathan said, I just got shrimp and need to get some food. What would be an all-in-one you'd recommend to start with?
Shelby, what would you recommend if they had to make one food purchase off of our website?
So we've always said complete, but I think the sampler pack would be the best way because it's only a few pieces of each, so you get to try everything. And it lasts forever. I thought you were going to
let me down there for a second. You can go back and check. I definitely gave them the look like, it's not right. It's not right. Save it. But you saved it. Yeah. It's the sampler pack.
Yeah, because then you get to try a little bit of everything. Gives it the wide variety too. a staple food that we usually feed is complete, but I would start with the sampler pack so you get to see what everything is, how it works, how they like it.
But if we had to choose one out of the sampler, it would be the complete.
Yeah. And then
the growth is a protein, the shell is a mineral, and the food fight is like a vacation food where it's the complete with a little bit of snowflake, a little bit of barley. It'll last a little bit longer.
And then there's baby in there too. Coral said, Shelby, if you really want to do a full experiment, can you test dosing powdered shrimp pellets or flake in the same quantity as Bacter AE? I don't know if that would be possible. I feel like regardless, a shrimp pellet or flake food has too much in it that it would cause issues.
It's
and
two
ammonia.
Different products is the problem. One's a food, one's a biofilm builder.
So my idea is to do it the way we've always done it, where we set up, cycle the tank. We don't add anything like Bacter AE like other people do.
I like to use it when we set up the aquariums when we have it, but if we don't have it, I've never noticed like a big difference because we're cycling it for 30 days.
But what I'm going to do is pick the same amount of shrimp in the same tank, same amount of colony, same type of shrimp, and then what I'm going to do is feed one tank the Bacter AE with the food like they recommend on their website, and go by the dosage that they put on there and see if it does make a difference, because some of these other breeders from different countries say it does. So maybe our water quality here isn't good enough to be able to do something like this because maybe we have too much minerals in our water compared to everywhere else. But it's always fun to see, different outcomes. And then the other tank, feed it like I normally would with just a wide variety of the shrimp NV and putting the minerals like we would feed. And just see how the colonies, you'll see if there's breeding more in one tank. And that's all you really want, is to see if there's more breeding. So if this helps, this little tiny product helps a little bit, and you follow the dosage and do that, and you get more shrimp, then that proves it right there. Now, if I have a colony crash, then that helps you understand like this isn't the right thing. So maybe we'll try a different dosage. There's so many possibilities of testing different products, but you have to have a controlled environment for both of them. So it's very hard, especially with our house and how many tanks we have. It's just kind of like all spread out with how many quantity and everything. So I just want it to be a little bit more controlled for the test to really get an idea if it works.
So we're talking about stuff on the website. We also have tangerine tigers, aquatic isopods, and low-grade red galaxy pintos back on the website. Also green emeralds. All of them are limited though. So if that's something you were waiting for, jump on it. I don't see the numbers on some of those lasting very long. Definitely not the emeralds. So then on top of that, that's not on the website, I have a limited supply of higher grade pure red lines just in time for Christmas. If you wanted some candy canes, some Missoura PRLs, they are nicer. They're the TGOE line. They're $10 a piece. I probably have 20 to 30 of those I can let go of. I don't have any of the lower grade ones. Somebody just took those off of our pans. What's up, Chattanooga Ed? I had to fight her for it today.
No.
Yeah. She's like, I'm wearing that. You can't wear it. And I'm like, I swear you've had both of the Tennessee Fish Mafia t-shirts in your dresser for months.
Comfy.
So we had the PRLs.
Hold on. Hashtag 2024 to get into the drawing. I know a couple people came in, so I just want you to be able to get in there.
We're about to wrap that up too, so jump on that. I do have some lemon heads, probably about 20 of those I'm willing to let go of for $15 a piece. And then also some red tang tie at $6 a piece. Those are going to be out of one of our nicer aquariums, and they're going to be red dominant, not like the normal orange and black ones. And then also I do have a small amount of cheetahs I can let go. Sold some today. I can probably do another 10 or 20.
All right.
All right. Final giveaway of the night. Last chance.
So said that way too loud.
Oh, now you got it. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Last chance. You got to do it. We got to hit the refresh
chance.
one last
Okay.
time.
Okay.
60 entries. We got one more than the record for tonight, so we're doing all right.
Yeah. I think we have more than now than before.
All right.
All right.
Shelby, spin that wheel. You don't have to wait for me to finish saying.
Well, if
You never know how long this thing's gonna go.
Sterling Aqua Shop.
Sterling, congratulations.
All right, Sterling, congratulations. Also, we had one other request from someone to do the top buyers on our website.
Oh, I forgot about that already.
Yeah. And without giving totals or orders or anything like that, going in order from the most money down, Scott Williams, Stephen Hoy, DD might have been a little bit higher on the list, but she started buying stuff through PayPal. So I wasn't able to do all that math crunching. Then Jason Carroll. Then we got Sterling. So that's definitely going to help you, maybe catch up to DD here. Then Nick Garrity, Caleb, Anthony, Daryl Denton, Raymond. I don't have the last name there. Raymond L. And then Travis Brown. And then we have Wade. Sorry, Wade, you were not in the top 5 like you desperately wanted to, but just outside the top 15. So thank you, everybody, for your supporters.
Supporters. For your support.
For your supporting supporters, right?
Supporters.
But I want to try and figure something out. We do something for our members. We're going to do something for you. I promise those prints will be shipped out. We've just been so busy. We probably should have done that before Christmas. That would have been a nice Christmas present. Maybe we'll get them out later on this week. But maybe we'll do something for our top buyers. If you place another order, we'll add in something a little extra for you guys. And then maybe we'll do the same, and we'll keep that a trend for the years to come. But thank you guys for the support, for watching, for the incredible year that we've had this year.
Wait, Caleb Anthony, yes. It's on the top 5, I believe. You already clicked out of it.
I just deleted an email. I don't know which one it was deleted.
Oh, no. You can undo it.
Yeah.
Like 6.
Yeah, Caleb Anthony.
Yep. Oh, snap.
7th.
That's me. Yes, thank you guys so much. We appreciate all the support. It definitely keeps
all
us going and want to
supporters.
build more. Honestly, they support us. It brings more supporters. That's what it is.
Thank you guys. And remember, we'll see you next week on Christmas for our biggest giveaway of the year.
Why
Have
do
a
you
happy
say it
holidays.
like that? Thank you so much.